Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today I want to make a little video about closers on how to actually gear up towards endgame, but also the stuff that you can do to make your character powerful whilst you're leveling up your character, because there's a lot of gear that you're going to be acquiring whilst you're leveling that still stays relevant towards endgame gearing. So in closers there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make your character a lot more powerful. So you have your actual gear, you have P&A, you have costumes, you have tunings, enhancements, and last but not least, chips. That's pretty much the basics if we're going to go over it real quick, but I'll break it down as we go along the way. So first thing that you want to be doing, you just want to follow along the main story, which are those yellow exclamation marks, but also try and do all of your side quests. Now, the reason why side quests are really important, even though you don't technically need the XP all the time, is because they give you skill books, and skill books of course will give you skill points. This allows you to upgrade your skills way higher than they should be. So as you can see, like, these are all maxed out. Some skills I have not maxed out because I don't have enough skill points for them, or I'm planning to save them up for some EX skills when we have our higher level cap. We were supposed to get it today, but the update got pushed back a little bit. It's not too much of a bother. But basically, generally speaking, you want to level most of your skills up to level 10, and you want to max out your FMs or your finishing moves. Now, you can only do this when, of course, you get more skill books, because you also want to be investing in some passives. So that's why doing side quests is pretty important, because a lot of them give skill books that you can then use to spend on your skills. So that's the first thing. Follow the main story, but do side quests. Then, if you've been following the main story up until around level 55, you're going to be unlocking the Planner Gate, which is the area that I'm in right now. Planner Gate has a lot of main story quests for the area itself, but also a crap load of side quests. Now, the side quests are really nice to do because, again, they give a lot of skill points, but they're not necessary. And I mean in the fact that you don't need to be spending a lot of time in the Planner Gate initially, to do a lot of stuff before you actually start doing the other level 80 endgame content, or maybe by the time that you reach level 80, it'll be probably 83 at that point, which will be the new level cap sometime soon this week. So what you want to be doing is, you want to go into the Planner Gate once you get the quest to come here, because that will unlock your P&A, which is really important because P&A can only be leveled inside the Planner Gate as far as I know. So you come over here, grab that quest, and then you start doing some main story questing inside the Planner Gate until you reach around 50k total combat power. Now you can check that over here. Total combat power, mine is almost 1 million. This is a lot, well, a lot, yeah, it is a lot for like a newer player, but once you've like geared out your entire character, get your P&A leveled up and all of that stuff, this isn't too much. If we're just like taking a look over characters like over here, for example, this one has around 1.8 million, I think. Yeah, indeed. But they went full out on their character and I have not. So you want to be going in here until this number is around 50 to 60,000, and then you're good to go for the rest of the story until level 65. So once you reach level like around 50,000 power level, go back outside, start doing your main story again inside the normal areas, and leave the Planner Gate alone until level 65. Because at level 65 you get a quest that is called the Dimensional Rift 5, which will have you go into these two stones, the blue one and the red one, and have you fight bosses, these two, and then also these two inside the Dimensional Rift 5, which is the highest difficulty. Once you initially go into the Planner Gate, Dimensional Rift 1 and 2 is where you can do all of the areas. So I advise that you do these to grab your, like to finish your missions, because these are the easiest to do, don't take that much time, and it's just a lot easier to just get done by your questing but still get the same gear. Of course, as you do higher difficulties, these will drop more materials, but as what you want to be doing initially is you just get in here, grab your gear, and then keep going for your main story. I would recommend you take the easier way out. So once you're 65, you come back, you do the Dimensional Rift 5, and the reason for that is because that will give you a full set of super gear. Now, I'm going to go over to crafting station real quick, because I don't have the super gear on me at the moment. If you, for example, accidentally lose a piece, you can come to these crafting stations, and you can just craft your super gear again. Now, this one you don't need. For my Levia, for example, I got this, and then these 4. The reason why you need these is, first of all, they're pretty good to get started with gearing up. They give you a good power boost at level 65. I say level 65, even though, as you can see, the required level is level 70. And that is because a lot of boosts will allow you to equip stuff that is 5 levels above yourself. So that's why I say 65. If you do not have any of these boosts, you can usually craft them. Let me see if there's any event stuff that has them on them right now. Doesn't look like it, but basically, a lot of events will allow you to craft something to equip stuff that's 5 levels above your level. Grabbing the premium buff, which is the monthly subscription thing, will allow this as well. I think certain crew buffs will give you this as well, so there's a lot of ways to allow yourself to equip stuff that's higher than your level. So that's why it's good to do this at level 65. If you can't equip it yet, then just wait until level 70, and that is fine as well. So, level 65, you grab this, you get out again, and you keep doing your main story until you are level 70. And then we're going to go over to a different area, which is the Dimensional Ops Center. Again, I would recommend you just to wait until you get the quest for it, because there's really no haste in getting over here and grabbing the stuff. Now, once you're over here, I think it's her, Dr. Jung, then this guy right here, and then this fine lady over here, that will have some optional quests for you. And what they will have you do is they will have you go into the Tiamat sites, as they're called, the Nightmare Worlds. This one is basically a normal dungeon with a boss at the end. We have one on the right side as well, over here. And then the last few quests will have you fight Tiamat herself. You can fight her either on skirmish or on assault. Assault I would not recommend, because you really want to do this with a party, especially if you're still gearing up. So just do skirmish, it's the easiest one there is available to you. And then you can grab all of the gear that you want from her. To kind of showcase what gear you will be left with, let's go over to my missile team real quick. There we go. So this is kind of the gear that you're going to be having once you're finished with the Dimensional Ops Center. Actually, I think... Oh, I actually got rid of it. Well, rip. So you'll have your 3 super trinkets, you'll have a super module, and you'll have your super core. Now mine is extreme because I already did a new quest for it, but we'll get on to this one in just a bit. And then you'll also have 2 modules from the Dimensional Ops Center as well. I crafted this one, which you technically don't have to do, but I'm going to be salvaging this one later for some chips, which again I'll talk about in a bit as well. So that's why it's nice to craft either this or some other stuff to get those chips going. But back over to my Levia. So that's what you want to be doing in Tiamat. You just go in there, grab your stuff. You get everything from quests, so you technically don't even need to craft a single thing. If you want to be a bit more powerful, you could craft the Creator Core, which is a good power increase, which to this date it is still a really good module to have even at endgame. I've replaced it with something else because I really dislike the health drain that's on the module. But if you do not care about that too much and you're okay with spamming some potions, then grabbing that module is definitely an okay choice because it is really good. So once we're done with Tiamat, you can just go back to leveling, and then once you hit level 73, you want to go over to the Planner Gate again because you will be unlocking the Extreme Gear. Now, Extreme Gear is technically level 75 gear, I think. Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's level 75 gear, but once you're level 73, you can pick up the quests and start doing the easy versions of the monsters. So, the portal for that is over here. We have Mephisto and Vitus that come back in a more difficult version. To this date, these are still good to do. As you can see, I did the easier versions today. Just to grind some materials. I also got really lucky and I got some Athena gear. which is something that you don't have to aim for, but it's nice if you get it. But you want to be doing this for two reasons. So the first reason is that, well, actually, let's go back a bit. You're going to be able to pick up quests to beat both Vitus and Mephisto 7 times. The Vitus quest is not as important, but the Mephisto quest is, because if you beat Mephisto 7 times, you get your Extreme Core, which is your weapon, for free, which is really nice, because otherwise you're going to be spending extra time getting the materials. It costs a lot of materials, it costs money, and basically if you get it for free, it's really nice. So that's why you want to be focusing on getting that Mephisto piece first. Now, once you got your Mephisto piece, well, once you've done your 7 Mephistos, you get a free Extreme Core. This is the new core that you want to be going for, but basically that will be your Extreme Core. And then you can start going to upgrading your module and your 3 trinkets from Super to Extreme. The way you do this is you can grind both of these monsters. These will both drop materials that you will need to upgrade your Super Gear into Extreme Gear. But if you actually get unlucky, you can also grab the normal materials that they drop, which are these things, the pure alien pressure valves. You can use these to actually craft the prerequisites that you need. As you can see, these are all the prerequisite craft thingies that you can make. So if you have enough materials, you can just craft these if you're unlucky with RNG. These you don't have to care about because you get the free core, as I said before. You want one of each of these to craft a module, and you want one of these from each to craft 1 trinket. So technically you want 3 of each to craft your trinkets. So that's how you get the 3 trinkets that are super, your super module, and then, well, your extreme stuff, and then the extreme core as well. Once you've done that, you're pretty much done in the planner gate, considering gear. We are, however, going to be coming back here later for your PNA and Gramory, but more on that later. I'm going to be talking about how to finish off your gear first, and then we'll talk PNA later, because PNA takes a bit more time to finish off. Like, for example, I still am not done with my PNA. Next one is going to be Irina and David to finish off your gear, which you will be fighting in the Union Division HQ. For all of the Wolf Dog and Black Lambs characters, the Wild Hunter team, they fight them in Guro Station. So that's just a small difference, because Guro Station for the Wild Hunters is one of their last areas that they go to. So that's the minor difference. So if you're playing Wolfgang or any of the new characters that are going to be released from Wild Hunter, Irina and David can be found in Guro Station, or one of the like the airship things, but can't see that on this map. So we'll go over to the Union Division, and then I'll show you how to do Irina and David. Again, for these as well, there's going to be quests, so don't do them before you grab the quests. You can do Irina from 75 and David from 77, which is the program 2 down here. They also require a visit item, which you can craft once a day. I think you can craft 8 of them a day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8. Still need to do these because I'm doing them for an achievement, so I'll craft them real quick. But basically, those are the ones. Irina will drop trinkets, whereas David will drop a module, a new receiver, and a core. So that's what you want to be doing, both of these. Again, if you pick up the quests, I think you need to beat Irina 4 times, and you will get this trinket for free. If you beat David once, you get his module for free. So that's really nice to have, and then you can grind them later for the other 2 trinkets, and then you can do David for the receiver and the core. One thing that you also can notice is that I have 1 extra module that I have as well from this area, which you can get by going to Sector Epic Gear, and then it's down here. So for physical users, it's going to be the booster. For magical users, it's going to be the regulator, and for hybrids, it's the condenser that you want. You don't need this because the creator module is still good. There's other modules that are good as well, like the Athena one, I believe. But I like going with this one because it's the latest one that's out there. It doesn't have health drain on it, and it's pretty nice. The only stat that is not as nice is the chase crit for my character, for example, but it is still there and it's nice to have. So with that, you pretty much have geared up your entire character. So to recap real quick, go into Planner Gate at level 65 for your super gear. Go back to go to Tiamat at level 70 to grab some other gear as well, so that you have a bit more power level. Then at level 73, start doing Vitus and Mephisto for your super gear. Once you have your super gear, you can go over here, where you can do both David and Irina for the trinkets, the core, the mod, and the receiver, and then you can craft the last module in this area as well. So what gear is concerned, that is pretty much done. Now, you still want to make yourself a lot stronger by enhancing your gear, because your gear at base level will make you stronger, but for example, I have a character, I think my Sylvie, has almost the exact same gear as my Levia, but she only has around 300,000 total combat power, which is 3 times it less than what my Levia has, and that's because of enhancements, tunings, PNA, chips, and all of the good stuff that I'm going to be talking about right now. So, enhancement, that's the first thing that you want to be taking a look at, because enhancing your stuff makes it a lot more powerful. The basic enhancement that you want to go to is to plus 10. Some stuff is plus 11 because I had some free boosters there, but plus 10 is your basic enhancement level that you want to get on all of your gear. If you don't get plus 10, then you don't really, well, you can't really use it for end game. So plus 10 is something that you can easily get. There is no reason to not get it to plus 10. I think I still have some stuff in here. Oh, that's actually plus 13. Oh, this is my super core. I haven't like upgraded this yet, so I'll show you real quick how the enhancement works. So plus 10 is the base level that you want to get, but you can actually get above plus 10 using a couple tricks to get it to plus 13. Now plus 13 is the highest that you can safely go, and I say safely because you can actually get to plus 15. Plus 15 is what allows people to go to those ridiculous high total combat powers that you saw earlier, like the 1.8 million. But it is risky. Risky in the sense that you can actually lose the item that you're trying to enhance. Meaning that it is very expensive if you lose it, means that you have to grind for the item again, means that you pretty much lost a lot of stuff. So safely to plus 13 is what I would recommend. Plus 12 is still pretty good as well, but the incremental upgrades that you get from going from plus 10 to 1 up to 1 up to 1 up again is a very big difference than going from plus 1 to plus 2. So basically getting it to plus 13 is an insanely high power difference from like even being plus 12. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Now, how do you do this then? So we have this gear booster right here next to your crafting machines, and we have the enhancement option. So what you want to do is you want to grab your item, put it in there, and then you can select a gear booster. Now you also have some random ones. Oh wait, those are a bit direct. Direct over here. You have some random ones as well that you'll pick up when you're doing story quests and stuff and side quests. For example, with the event that's currently going on, you can craft a plus 12 one, which is really nice. But if you don't have those, then you'll be using these. So you just select them. This will put it up. We'll upgrade it with 1 level. If we click up OK, and it's enchanting it, and now my stuff is plus 1. If I were to use this again, it'll go up to plus 2, and so on and so forth. And this booster is good until up to plus 7. Once it is plus 7, we want to switch over to this one to plus 9, and then for plus 10 we have this one. Now, once your stuff is plus 10, you can still go higher by using this purple booster and selecting an additive, which is called an enhancement boost. This will increase the success chance of having a great success. Great success means that you jump up by 3 levels instead of just 1. So what you want to do is get this to plus 10, select enhancement boost 2, select the great booster fuel 4, gear booster fuel 4, and then start enhancing. And then you have a chance of getting above plus 10. You also have a chance of getting plus 11, plus 12, or plus 13 with this. You have a chance to reset back to plus 0. You have a chance to go down by 1. And you have a chance to contaminate it, which means that you'll need a dioxin cleaner. I don't have them on me right now. But basically you need to use a dioxin cleaner to use the item again. If you want to go to plus 13 and you get to plus 11, you can use a -1 gear booster to drop the level to plus 10 again, making it save again to upgrade again, because once you try to upgrade a plus 11 item, it has a chance to break. That's pretty quickly going over the enhancement. You can also tune your stuff, which is again very important as well. So if you put this in there, you'll see that every piece of gear, you can see it underneath here as well, has 4 random stats. Oh wait, I can't actually do this whilst I'm tuning. Your core has 5, modules have 4, trinkets have 4, and your receiver have 4 as well. This is also in costumes, but only 2 of them. And then wings have 3, but we'll go over wings in just a bit as well. So for tunings, just put it in there, and you can see your random rolled stats. Now, I don't actually have tuning plugs on me because I'm saving them for a new character, but I can still show what I need to show. So basically, you have a random roll of stats on all of your items. If you get a roll that you don't want, like for example this one, physical crit damage is completely useless on Levia because she's completely psi damage. So I want to get rid of this. So I select it, I click OK. I'm going to lose 1 tuning plug and some money, and then it will re-roll the stat to something else. Now, whoops. That's not the only stat that I want to re-roll. Technically, I want to get rid of all of this, because there are a few different tiers of stats as well. So you have D, which is the worst, you have C, B, A, which is pretty good, and then S, which is the best. Ideally, you want to try to shoot for only S and A tunes. In some cases, I still take B if I'm just too bored to try to keep re-rolling, or if I just don't have the materials for it anymore. But in general, you want to aim for S and A, and that will make your character pretty strong. Of course, if you want to go full balls to the walls, you just go for only S tunes, but it will take a while and it will be very expensive to get those. But basically, you put it in here, you select the stats you don't want, you click OK, it will decrease the tuning count that is left, and it will give you new random stats. Once you reach 0, there are items in the game, these things. Well, I need one for level 80. Basically, you click on them, put your item in there. This is level 75, so it doesn't work. Oh well, I can use this one. Put it in there, click up OK, and it will reset the tunings back to the maximum level of tunings that you have. So that's how tuning works. Just put it in there. Select the stats you don't want, tune. If you run out of tunings, you can use these items to reset the count and try again. Tuning plugs are really easy to get. You can get, I think, 50 of them every week in the crew dungeon, but there's also a few repeatable quests that will reward you with tuning plugs. So yeah, that's tuning. Pretty easy to do. Even if you're just for example, with the super gear, if you take a look at it and you have some very bad tunes on it, you might as well just re-roll them for the heck of it. Maybe even do a full tuning, because if you do a full tuning, you actually don't require tuning plugs. It'll just cost a bit of more money. So that's something that you can do as well. If you just don't want to spend the tuning plugs, but you still want to try and make your thing a bit stronger. So that is that. Oh yeah, one other thing that's also pretty important. You have these things, which are gear lubricants. These allow you to re-roll the quality of your gear. Only do this on receivers, core, and modules. Don't care about trinkets, because it's not worth it. I would even say receiver is not as important, but I like to do it as well. But core and modules, it is very important. So if we take a look, for example, over here, if you look at the top right of my info screen, you see it's a fair necklace. This one, it's a fine ring. This one is also fair, fine, fine, and this one is superior. Superior is what you want to be aiming for. So you pretty much, you use this, you put your gear in there, you click up OK, and you'll get a random increase. So for example, if you look at this, poor regulator, meaning that if I were to re-roll it and I got superior, it will be stronger. So that just pretty much, you just use the item, you re-roll a few times until you get superior on all of your stuff. I just lost my crew buff, I think. No, I still have it, doesn't matter. But yeah, that's a very small thing that you also want to be doing, is re-rolling that until you get superior on your modules and your core, and eventually, if you want, your receiver as well. So that is everything concerning gear. Oh no, that's not true. That's not true. We still have chips to go over. So we'll go back to the dimensional op center, and I'll show you of how to do chips real quick, because chips are also a very big damage increase as well. This is also what I was talking about earlier with the creator core, or the creator module. If we go over to gear booster over here, you'll see that we have a third option, which is an enhancement adapter. If you put my gear in there, it will cost me $1 million, and I can open a chip socket. After that, I can install a chip socket and I can remove it, but we're not going to do that, of course. Basically, what chips do is it allows you to give extra stats to your gear. So if you look over here, for example, I have a blue chip, I have a platinum chip, and I have a green chip in there. This is not so good, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be swapping this thing out anyways once the purification update is live, because the purification core is something that I will want. But in general, you only want to put 2 types of chips in your gear, which are platinum chips and dual chips. So let me show you real quick what those do. These are your normal chips that you can check what they do. But in general, you want to be using dual chips because they give double the stats. For example, red gives physical stuff and blue gives psi stuff. But if we look over at dual and we have red and blue, it gives both physical and psi stuff. So for hybrids, this is really good. Now, of course, some chips are better on other characters as well. Like, for example, red chips are completely useless on Levia. But if, for example, the blue chip that I put in gives me 300 psi power. But if I were to give it blue-green, I could have gone psi power and psi crit instead of just the psi power. See where I'm going with this? So this is really powerful to have dual chips in there because they give 2 stats instead of just the 1. Platinum chips, you mostly want to be going over amplify ones. Like for example, amplify blue is 360, whereas the latest blue is only 300, so it's 60 more. So platinum chips are also very powerful. You can get them in 2 ways, which is from, well, 3 ways technically. You can spend money on the game in washing machines and hope you get lucky. But you can also get these from salvaging 3-star costumes or salvaging the creator stuff. So if I go over here real quick, go to special ops, all of these items, if it wants to stay on the screen, including the accessories and stuff, have a chance when you salvage them to drop creator stuff. So for example, let me quickly, where can I craft these? So I'll craft one of these real quick just to show it. So special ops, I'm going to make a trinket. There we go. So we now have our creator trinket. I'm going to salvage it. Oh, whoops. Yes, and there we go. I got a platinum green chip. And also some obsidian keys, which is an entry item that you need to go into Tiamat. So that's how you get your platinum chips. Of course, it is completely random, so you could also get a latest chip, you could get a dual chip, it's just RNG. Platinum chips is what you'll be aiming for, of course. But yeah, that's that. You will, of course, not always get lucky, because the slot color is random when you open a socket. Now, of course, there are items in the game that are called drivers. And do I actually have these on me? I do not. But basically, there's an item that allows you to change the slot type. And there's also items that will increase the chance of that slot type being a certain color that you want, called drivers. So you won't be doing that until you have the color that you want and then put in the chips that you want as well. So that's everything for gear. You want to grab your gear first, enhance it to +10 for your trinkets, preferably +13 for your core modules and maybe receiver as well. Receiver is not as important. +12 is also acceptable. +11, I would try to go higher. Then do the tunings, get chips in there, and then you're pretty much done with your gear. So that is that. let's head back to the planner gate and talk about PNA, because PNA is a huge damage increase as well. And you can also kind of customize your character in certain ways. Of course, there is a best in slot type of stuff that you want to go for, but if you want something specific, you can also get that. Bona also, this character right here, has a repeatable quest for Grammary, which will be important later. So, as I said, PNA can only be leveled in the planner gate by doing activities in this area. And if you press J, we'll open up our PNA overview. So, there are 4 different types, well, at the moment, technically 2 different types of PNA. You have your normal PNA, which are these 3 tabs, and you have special PNA, which is this one. We'll cover this one first because you unlock this one immediately after you do your first few quests in the planner gate. Basically, these are all just stat boosts that you can technically choose. I don't have any leftovers on me right now, but basically there are a lot of wait, I can actually show you the craftable ones. Special ops? Yeah, special ops. So you'll be getting these kind of things, and when you open them, as you can see, there is a huge list of different types that you can get, but you only want to have certain types. Of course, there will be there is a best in slot kind of thing, like a Google document, which I'll probably link in the description if I don't forget about it. But that basically lists what you want to try and aim for every character. Olivia is best in slot with her normal PNA at the moment. So yeah, that's all done. But basically, you have your arranged genes, which are these blue ones, combined genes, which are the orange ones, and then the purple ones down here. You want to try and go for the ones that you want. In general, for every character, you want to go flat damage % for these. This is penetration, and this is airstrike for most. You can also have back on Nata, I believe, and then chase on Tina, but for most characters, you're going to be going for airstrike. Defensive, total HP percentage, flat damage reduction, total HP percentage again, utility, mana percentage, skills CDR, and damage during empowered state, and for this one it's the same. So that's pretty much what you want to be aiming for most characters. What you can do as well is upgrade it, because you will start at a very low rate, and then you can press this button right here and upgrade. I can't because this is the highest level, but basically what you want to be doing is all of the PNA that you can't use, you delete, because this will give you enhancement, and then you can use this enhancement to upgrade the ones that you do want to keep, and Transcendent is the highest level that you can go with them. That's pretty much what you want to be doing. Also, it's very important that you unlock all of these as soon as you can, because every new box opened will also give you skill points, so that's pretty good for upgrading your skills later on. So yeah, that's your normal PNA. This will go until level 40, I believe. So yeah, level 40 is the highest that you can go. Once you're past level 40, you can start working on your special strain. This is something that you can only upgrade by doing Grammary. Grammary is something that you unlock at level 75. It is down here on the left. There's 2 difficulties. You have the basic one that you can do at level, well, it's all level 75. But these enemies are a lot easier. This is only sides. Intermediate course, these are the same as before. They're a bit more difficult. And then you have Central, which is what you want. Well, I'm still doing it every day, as you can see. Which you'll be getting the most materials that you can get in the shortest amount of time. But if you're not powerful enough to do this by yourself, or you don't have a team to play with, just do the basic course and this will get you started just fine. What you will be getting from these is pills. Now, you can use the pills to get enhancement, some will drop enhancement, but some will also drop evolution. And evolution is what you'll be using to upgrade these. Now, this is the highest level you can go, level 10 superior weapon affinity. Is the one that you want to be working on the first, by the way, because this is flat damage %. For most characters, again, second will be aerial, and then third will be back attack for most. Again, for Tina, for example, instead of going for aerial, you'll be going for chase. But that's just an example. There's 3 different tiers. You have your normal tier, you have fine, and you have superior. You basically go from level 1 to 10. Once you hit level 10, you can upgrade or you can try to boost it to the next like state to fine. Then you have level 1 to 10 as fine, and then once you're level 10 you can try to get it up 1 again to get to superior, and then you go to level 10 superior, and that's the highest that you can go for now. I know there is some new grammar stuff on Korea, but I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. So this is all that we have right now on the EU and NA versions. So if you click on this button right here, you'll see that it will cost me 100 enhancement to go from level 1 to 2. It will cost me 70,000, and I have a 90% success chance. This thing right here you can buy, I think, but some let's call it, some event stuff will also have this occasionally. This will basically increase the success chance, decrease the cost, and decrease the materials needed. Whereas these three, you have to make a choice. Either you make it cheaper, you decrease the stuff that you need, or you increase the chance that you get. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I mostly use the upgrade formula. What you can do though is for every time you have a successful upgrade, the success chance will go up. So you could, for example, save up some evolution, use your success rate on the first 2 or something until you have a higher success chance, and then you could go into like reduced materials or something for that. Something you could do. But yeah, you pretty much want to get them to like superior level 10. This will take quite a while to do because there is limited resources. Daily you can do Grammary Central 3 times. It's 4 times now because we have Boost active. But normally it's only 3 times, and then you can do the sides, each of them 4 times as well. You can't do both of these and then both of these a day, because the entries will stack up as a daily. I generally don't do these anymore because they take longer than the reward is worth it for me. So I would rather just do this and then call it a day, so to speak. So that's pretty much P&A. So you have your normal one, which you'll get at the beginning, and then you've got Grammary P&A, which you can work towards every day by doing Grammary Central preferably. So that's that. The only thing that you pretty much have past that are costumes and your teamwork buff. Costumes, normal costumes, which you can get, you can upgrade them to +3 or 3 stars. I have a bunch of 1 stars in my inventory, which I'll probably just salvage at some point. But just to show you how to do it, I'm gonna head over to Dr. Jung over here. Click upgrade costume, put it in here. Oh wait, I can't actually upgrade that one. But I just put it in there. It cost me 60 fibers to upgrade, and then when I want to upgrade it to +3, it'll cost me a couple other fibers. And once it is +3 is the highest you can go. It also increases the stats that's on there. So that's that. Now, in general, you want to try and get a 5 out of 5 3-star set if you just want your normal character, but there are also these things called the rare costumes. Now, we had Dark Command or Splendor of Darkness, but right now we only have the Cybernetics costume. Cybernetics you want to get at least 6 out of 6 for. You can also get up to 10 out of 10 to get the extra stats, but the problem with 10 out of 10 is that you can only get it in 2 ways. One, you spend money on the game in the washing machine and you pray to RNG that you drop them, or you just save up a lot of money, go to the black market, and oh whoops, it's actually too much. So for example, the headset is one of the accessories. Oh, we didn't find any. Let's check eyes, none. Wait, isn't it called booster? Oh, mobility booster. Ah, see, for example, we have a few of these. But as you can see, 500 million, 350 million, this is considered cheap at the moment. So if you want to be buying these from the market, you're going to have to save up a lot of money to do so. I have some because I saved up enough money for it. But that is the only 2 ways that you can get the accessories, as they're called. That is through the black market or by spending real money on the game. So that's the only unfortunate thing about them. But you can actually get the 6 out of 6 set by merging 2 3-star costumes. So you get 2 costumes to level 3 or 3-star. One piece needs to be of your character. So for example, well, let's say this one, this is Levia's hair, so I get this to 3-star. Then I use, I actually don't have them on me anymore. I think I can buy them in the store. You can also get 3s through other means, of course. Synchro fibers. So these things, you use that, you merge 2 costumes together, and then you have a chance of obtaining what is called the rare costume, in this case the cybernetics costume. Again, these also have tunings, so you can go over here, costume tuning, put in your for example your costume, you click on this and you tune it. Requires different things than tuning plugs, but it's pretty much the same principle. You also have these kind of items to reset the tuning count, but they're gold plated instead of just purplish. So that's how you work out with your costumes. As you can see, there's also like other open spots, which you will be using your accessories. At the moment, for head and chin, you want to get the robust set, which are the puppets, which I have a different version of them, these puppets, and then like the tiger tattoo, I believe. So most people run. And then for these 3, you want to be running the Area 8 accessories, which you can get by just completing dungeons in the last area, which is the Union Division HQ. Wings, you either get really lucky or you craft them over a long period of time. I got really lucky in this case, but most of the bosses will drop wings, but it's like a 0.0001% chance or something. But if you really just want to get wings, you can go to your housing down here. You can do explorations over here. You can do your garden stuff over here, which will give you tokens, these explorer coins and gardening tokens. And once a day, you can craft something that is a fresh green crystal. If you gather 30 of them, you can craft 1-star wings. Gather 30 again, you can craft 2-star wings. And then grab 30 again, and you can upgrade your 2-star to 3-star wings. So technically, it takes 90 days to get 3-star wings by just doing your gardening stuff. This doesn't cost any real money either. So that's the guaranteed way of getting wings, or you can just pray to RNGesus, like I did, to drop them from a boss. But in general, this is the easiest way to get them. It just takes a while. And then the last piece of costume that you have is a full bodysuit. For some characters, you don't have a full body yet outside of the EMP store. You can buy these for 10 euros ish, it is. Or of course from the black market if there's some on there. But with the special agent promotion, there will be full bodysuits available for a limited time as well. Now, some people don't have their special agent costume in the game anymore. I think Seha, Yuri, and Jay are the ones that don't have them anymore. Don't quote you on that though. But don't be afraid. If you're playing those, the costumes will most likely come back at some point when all of the special agents are out, so that you can craft them again. So, and otherwise, of course, you can just buy it from other people that made 2 of them, because I know that some people in my crew are selling them for like 100 million on the market board and hope to get lucky with that if people want to spend their in-game credits on that as well. So that's pretty much everything that you can do on your character to make it stronger. Last but not least, you have the crew buff, or your team buff, which is down here. Basically, this just means level other characters. This is level 6 because my Seha is level 70. As you can see, I will get the next effect when he reaches level 80. She's level 80, so it is max level. She's level 3, so I get the level 3 buff. Well, level 30, or no, 40, so I get the level 3 buff. If she's level 50, I get the level 4 buff. And so on and so forth. So basically, if you level other characters, they will buff each other if you go do content. Can't see it on my buff bar right now, but if I were to go into a sector, it will say teamwork buff, and it will show me all of these bonuses that I get from these characters because I have leveled them up to a certain extent. So that's the last thing that you can do pretty much. So to recap real quick, TLDR, you want to be grabbing all of your gear. First, go into the planner gate, go to 50k-ish total combat power, get out. Level 65, come back, grab your super gear from doing the Dimensional 5 quest, get out again, level 70, go into Tiamat and grab your gear there until you have a fully decked out character with a mixture of Tiamat gear and super gear. You will have one extra slot that you can use your special agent card on, if you have special agent unlocked. If not, just throw something random in there. Level 73, come back to the planner gate and get your super gear. Level 75 and level 77, go to Irina for the trinkets, David for the core module receiver. Grab the last module from the last area that there is, or you can just use the crater booster. Then at level 75 you also have special PNA unlocked for you, normal PNA as you're going along the way, and then at the end you want to finish it off by trying to get a 6 out of 6 at least cybernetics costume and grab some accessories from area 8. And then last but not least, finish it off by leveling other characters and getting their teamwork buff. And then of course you can upgrade this by enhancing, tuning, chips, and the gear lubricant. And then I think that covers pretty much everything. Now of course, later down the road in this week we are going to be getting purification. Purification will give us new gear, which will awaken our skills with a completely new upgrading and crafting system and stuff, but I can't go over that right now because it's not out. But once I get my hands on some purification gear and I get around to how the system works, I'll update it with a part 2 that will just be talking about purification. This was pretty much all the information that you want to know on how to gear up your character and make it stronger, and it will give you plenty of stuff to do for the foreseeable future. And then of course, once purification comes out and I've got all of the gear that I need and all of the knowledge that I need to talk about it, then I will make it a part 2 video. So with that, I hope this wasn't too overwhelming, but this is pretty much all you want to know to make your character as powerful as they can be. So with that out of the way, I hope you learned something. I hope it wasn't too much of an information bomb. Yeah, and I hope to see you in the next one.